also just for the next 2 weeks. Also, my messages are timeless. So although I'm going to be doing this message today, so it's really for the energy you are currently in, at any time that you watch this video, and where it showed up on your algorithm, it could be because this message is for you. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And let's hop into the oracle message. So I will be using 2 decks. One is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and this deck is by Colette Baron Reed. I absolutely love this deck. I just feel like it's so intentional and the messages are pretty spot on. So I've already pre-pulled the cards for the deck that I want to go over, and the cards are Clean It Up in Peace, because I pulled these cards for myself twice and I have a toddler, so bear with me if my cards aren't perfect. But I pulled these cards for myself twice and both cards came out both times, and I felt like whenever I feel a message or I see it come up a lot, I know that it's something that is needed for the collective as well. So I'm going to share these messages with you. Along with that, I am going to be sharing a message from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. And this deck I really love, by Alana Fairchild. This deck is about connecting light workers to high vibrational information and information that is of consciousness. I really love that this deck connects to animal totems as well as the indigenous gods and goddesses. All right, so let's hop into the message really quick. So for the first card, Clean It Up, card 21, it has the image of, looks like a reindeer that's dusting the sky and standing on what seems to be kind of unsturdy ground. And the card number is 21, which is, I think of 3, and I think of getting help from spirit, also connecting to the divine, also clearing energy out so that you can make way for the messages that are meant for you. All right, so here's what it says in her book, and I already lost the cover because a little one I have. But it says 21, clean it up. The essential meanings of the card is getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, and sweeping away what is no longer needed. So it says the Oracle's message: ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home? Also, too much work, overwhelmed, time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. It says, now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleansing house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. So it could be insurance renewals. It could be old debts. I know that I bought 1 or 2 things off Klarna and Afterpay that I definitely had to go and check on those debts. So it could be just a month for you that you have to kind of go back and look at things and handle certain documents and paperwork. We recently moved, so with moving, you have to do renter's insurance. Then we had to do doubles renter's insurance. So I had to go back and cancel one. So those are the little things you could be dealing with right now, and just dealing with. So I know also because I've had those things happen, and it also is Mercury retrograde, just be mindful of technology and backing up and double checking things, because Mercury retrograde is usually a time when there's a lot of miscommunication. Travel plans may not fall through the way you expect. You might also be going back to old paperwork and documents. So just make sure you're dotting your T's, crossing your I's, crossing your T's, dotting your I's. And making sure that everything is cleaned up. So this also comes with, I love that this book comes with an essential message, oracle message, and relationship message, and then a protection message and prosperity. So it's covering all the different avenues, I should say. So for relationship message, it says, time to clear the air, take a look at your side of the street and say what's on your mind. Sweep away the old stuff so that a spring breeze can flow through with new energy. It's the perfect time to do an inventory of your dynamics and see what's yours and what's not yours, and to clean up the relationship. Everyone brings some baggage, so a time for self-awareness, a time for accountability. Everyone brings some baggage. Sort through what you brought with you and let go of what is no longer needed. Become unencumbered and your relationship will flourish. So, focusing on yourself, having accountability. When you're in a long-term relationship, there's definitely seasons where it's more important for you to focus on yourself than what your partner's doing, because sometimes that self-focus allows the change necessary for you that actually fixes your partner's behavior, and it really changed it by fixing yourself or changing something that you needed to work on. All right, next is the prosperity message. Simple things like opening your mail, paying bills, sorting your timetable, making lists, and getting organized is what this symbol means when it comes to your work. Make time for yourself too. This card is a sign you may be overburdened and overwhelmed. It's okay to say no. You'll prosper even more if you do. So I had to literally say no today because it was a friend's birthday and she wanted me to go to a pole class, and I just knew that I really wanted to get my videos out as well as take time for myself. I didn't want to prioritize going to a class. Although I would have loved to celebrate her birthday, I knew that part of me cleaning it up was making sure my responsibilities were handled. And I take my channel very seriously and the information I share. And I feel like it's my responsibility to you guys to show up and just, be my best self, which also means taking the time to study the information, contemplate on the messages, being mindful, being meditative, so that I can share that information. And I just knew that if I had that plan later, I wouldn't have been so comfortable taking my time and going through the process of what I wanted to share. Next is the protection message. It says, it is possible you may be focusing too much on other people right now, trying too hard to be helpful. Does taking on what belongs to others make you feel needed or desired? Perhaps you think it's your calling to relieve people of their burdens, but what is the cost to you and to them? Don't clean up someone else's side of the street or mess. You're not helping by freeing him or her of responsibility. You're also not doing yourself any favors, and you just might be adding even greater strain. You are loved as you are. You do not need to be loved. So there's a part of me that felt like if I didn't go, I would feel really bad because I knew that she wanted me there. But there was a part of me that was like, you could literally burn out your relationship with someone if you go when you're not in the mood to, and then a situation arises because of that. And you have an emotional reaction because you weren't in the right energy when you were there. So here's that protection message. It's okay to focus on yourself. It's okay to say no to things if you know you need to clean it up at home. And I knew that part of cleaning it up is knowing that I'm not in a rush, knowing that I can just take care of my child or be home or rest. All of those things are integral and important for our well-being and showing up for ourselves and our friendships and our world. So all things to consider. I have a little tickle right here. Yeah. I think the brush or the sponge I used had little things on it because I'm feeling it on my face. The next is peace. Also, speaking of clean up your makeup brushes, because that's something you put on your skin every day. So I just recently cleaned my sponges and things, but I definitely want to do that again because it's good to clean up things. The next card is peace, and this card is 23 and it's 5, so it could be a change to peace. And what I'm getting for the collective, especially for myself in the energy of the collective, is that this card, peace, has shown up multiple times, and the idea that you can move into a happily ever after. So if you're watching this video, you are someone who might be literally on the brink of your happily ever after, and that doesn't necessarily mean love or just love, but happily ever after is literally moving into a space and a season in your life where life just can continually get better, and you can literally live in a state of peace and have a regulated nervous system. And that is peaceful. That is true bliss, because when we're there, we're able to live without time. And that is when we're able to really create and see the things we want to see in the world, because we're not controlled by time or space. We're not in survivor mode. So here's what it says for card 23, peace. And I'll show you the card again. This card is an egg and it's a dove over it. So that reminds me of the image of grace or even redemption, being able to see a sudden or major change. We also have Uranus transiting gate 8 in the 3rd line in human design, and these cards are reflected off of the I Ching. So there are elements of the I Ching within these oracle cards. But gate 8 is happening in Uranus, which is the gate of sudden change, and it's about what we can contribute and how we can kind of individuate ourselves. And here, with this being peace, it could be a moment of grace coming to you that allows you to truly show up as yourself and truly individuate for a rebirth, because we have the egg. All right, so here's the essential meaning of the card: freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. The oracle's message says, it doesn't get any better than this: a quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul's satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in the world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. Relationship message: when two people are in true alignment with one another, they have an innate harmony between them. They are as two perfectly tuned instruments playing together. Sometimes it's impossible to tell who is who. Peace is yours and it is to be savored. So when we're in peace, you feel like you're one flesh. There's like a biblical message about husband and a wife coming together and being in one flesh. So in this relationship message, when you think about it from a love perspective, being at peace is coming into oneness, coming into a deep understanding of another person, so that it feels as if you're in the same alchemical flow or energy. And I talk a little bit more about that in my last live that I did, which we'll be posting soon, of the full moon in Aquarius. So it says, sometimes it's impossible to tell who's who. Peace is yours and it is to be savored. So you may be in that season of your life where you feel like you are coming into a state of deep peace and satisfaction, and honor that, savor that, and don't allow any signs of difference in that to change your perception. Next is prosperity message. This is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough. And for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit, and it shows in your work. So also keep doing what you're doing. So it might be that this season of your life, you just need to clean things up to prepare for peace that is going to be coming to you, or to ready yourself for your next chapter. And maybe you already have this intuitive knowing of what is to come, and that is why the universe is like, all right, so you got to get your things in order if you know what is to come. And the protection message for peace, it says, now is a time for calmness and well-being in spite of temporary conditions. Even if there are dissonant notes in the music of your life, all that means is that you must go within and fine-tune the extraordinary instrument that you are. Find harmony within yourself and don't look to the outer world to provide certainty. This too shall pass, and once again, your life will be filled with beautiful music. So on a world scale, on a collective scale, the world is very tumultuous right now. So part of finding peace is understanding that it's something that could be created, and it's all about being able to understand the dissonance and be in acceptance of the dissonance in your life, but not necessarily allowing it to overtake you and your perception of life. So those two messages are very beautiful. Again, this, if I had the cover of this book, this is what it would look like. So this is the deck, Wisdom of the Oracle. Absolutely love it. And as always, it's linked in my Amazon shop under Human Design books, Oracle cards, etc. All right, so for the Oracle message from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck, the message I pulled was card 27, which I've done an Oracle video solely on, but this card is called Hooponopono, an immeasurable power of the heart way. And that is what the image looks like. Very beautiful card. I'm going to tap the screen just to kind of, okay. So for that card, there's a healing process, and usually I don't do the healing process in this book, but this time I will. So I'm going to just do the inner reading process and a little of the spiritual guidance and the healing process because it's a very long message. So the word pono comes from the Hawaiian proverb Hooponopono, which has to do with a four sentence mantra that basically is about unconditional love for humans and the human spirit and humanity as a whole, which includes all animal kingdoms, right? And it's just a beautiful message because it's a reminder that even when we're in these dissonant energies that we don't feel peaceful, we can find peace by tuning into a mantra like Om or even Hooponopono that can really remind us of why we're here, which is to serve and use our voices to do something that is going to bring us oneness, but also, you know, bring us peace within the moment and hopefully peace to whatever energy is dissonant around us. So here this message says, in a reading, the divine within your heart has the power to transform a situation that is troubling you. Do not be intimidated or think that it is too much for you or the divine to handle. Do not allow yourself to intellectualize or analyze a situation to the point of feeling confused and paralyzed. Healing through the heart on any and all situations or issues that have plagued you or a loved one can and will happen. Let your heart feel the faith it needs to feel so that it can rest in joy. Divine healing wants to flow abundantly to you. Open up to receive it without hesitation or condition. So this card is reminding us that it's really the power of our heart and our ability to connect our soul and emotions with the divine's plan for the earth is where we are going to find peace. So here for spiritual guidance, it says Pono in the Hawaiian tradition has deep and multiple meanings, one expression of which is the return to order. It says there is a perfection of peace, beauty, and fulfillment that the divine has planned for the lives of all beings through the use of human free will, which is your free will. We have at times moved away from what is the divine plan, stumbled on the path, and become ensnared in terrible suffering and frightening delusion. This can become contagious, infecting other souls with the poison of hate, anger, and fear, and further separating our human collective from the beautiful grace that the divine has intended for us. It says, it then becomes difficult to use our free will with wisdom, and our spiritual disconnection can create far-reaching negative impact for our others and the planet. One only needs see the pain in the world to understand this. Yet there is a simple spiritual discipline that we can practice to restore the world and all hearts within it to rights again. So now I'm going to read for you guys that spiritual discipline, and it is the Hawaiian proverb, Hooponopono. So this is the practice, and you guys can do it with me. Choose a person or situation to which you can offer healing. It's also a great time to focus on self-compassion because self-compassion is one of the best ways we can heal others. When we choose to be compassionate towards ourselves and forgive ourselves, we often can be in a frequency that we can do this for others. Gaze at the image of the card. Recognize the heart power depicted. Place a hand on your heart as you tap into the beauty of your heart, including the feelings of compassion, goodwill, and wanting all beings to know that they are loved and do not deserve to suffer. When you feel that heart connection, you are ready to complete the 4 simple steps without them having to make sense to your mind. Feel the truth of what is happening in your heart as you complete the process. So here is the first step. The first step is I'm sorry. So you can say aloud, I am responsible for this situation. I feel so sorry for this. And I'll say it 2 more times. I am responsible for this situation. I feel so sorry for this. because when we say it 3 times, there is power in the 369 method. So this is the 3rd time. I am responsible for the situation. I feel so sorry for this. Now let your heart be in compassion as you might feel the emotion that is evoked by what you are saying. So here, when we take this accountability, we take an accountability that gives deep unconditional love to whatever person or situation we're saying it to. Next is please forgive me, asking for forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness. You do not need to think whom you are asking it of. Just say, please forgive me. As you speak these words, feel the remorse you connected with in step 1. As you ask to be forgiven, those of you sensitive to energy may feel or sense a release of energy taking place. Please forgive me. And one last time, please forgive me. Now for step 3, thank you. Say thank you. Again, it doesn't matter if you have a sense of whom or what you are thanking. Before you even say the words, you may already feel the gratitude that begins to pour through you. This will increase as you say the words. Thank you. Thank you. And now for step 4, I love you. Again, this will evoke a response in the soul, this time an outpouring of love. You may feel this consciously, but even if you don't trust that it is happening, just go with the process and say, I love you. Let yourself feel love as you say the words. I love you. I love you. Place your hands in prayer and relax for a moment. You have completed your healing process. Lay your hands in prayer or on your chest. You can take 3 deep breaths together. Last one. And now to close out this oracle message, I'm going to recite Hooponopono 3 times by saying the phrases and then saying the actual mantra, and then just going over again a little bit about what we covered in this oracle message reading. So, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And as you guys can see, I said it a little out of order as to how the steps were in the book, and that is because a life coach gave me this mantra in 2016, and back in 2016 when she gave me this mantra, it radically changed my life. I was able to look at human suffering in a different way, and whenever I came in contact with it, I would say it, and I noticed the difference in either the other person or situation or myself and how I felt after saying it, and it stuck with me ever since. I'm also now going to say the word or the phrase so that you guys can remember it for the future. It's Hooponopono. 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 And now that we've said it, I am going to give a little recap of what we've covered in this oracle reading through the Wisdom of the Oracle deck and the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. So for this full moon in Aquarius, we are reminded the need to clean it up and get our orders in alignment with what we want to see and also with the future that we're planning. This could be organizing our bills. It could be getting rid of broken equipment that we may have lying around the house. This could be replacing it with newer equipment or systems that we need to replace it with. It could also be tending to our plants and gardening. It could also be just being more intentional about the brands we shop in the future, because that's something I mentioned in my previous video, that sometimes organizing, it's mental first. It's thinking about our future and how we want to put things in order, and that could be planning. Next is peace. We covered the card of peace and finding peace. And a big part of finding peace is understanding the wheel of life. And I cover the wheel of life through the I Ching hexagrams. So if that is something that interests you, you can definitely look at the I Ching or the I Ching, and that book is the classic text that they use for the human design gates, the 64 behaviors. So if that is something that interests you, feel free to check out my channel for all the videos I have covering those transits. And also understand that the contemplations are helpful because it brings you into a meditative state so that you can find peace. And sometimes the peace, when we find it inward, it then reflects outward. Oftentimes it's that way. There are times that, of course, that someone can bring us their peaceful energy or invite us into their space, like you guys are inviting me into your space. But peace can be paramount when we get our affairs in order. The next thing and the last message is remembering to connect to the heart whenever we don't know what to do or we're faced with adversity. We can connect back to our heart space and think about the Hawaiian proverb of Hooponopono, which gives us the 4 phrases of I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I think in the book it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. So if that is something that you feel like can definitely help you go about the world, like, it is very, very powerful. So all of us using this mantra, especially in times when we see humans suffering and just people hurting in the world, then I think the world could be a little bit better. And if it's not for you, that's totally cool too. But I love you guys. I hope this message resonated, and I'd love for you to share your experience with the proverb if you've used Hooponopono before. Also with these oracle decks and the messages and what you're going through in your life right now as this video found you. I would love to hear if there's any synchronicities or just things I've mentioned that you have been going through as well. So yeah, I love you guys. You'll see me in my next video. Please stay in touch with me here as well as on my Instagram, where I cover the full and new moon new and full moon transits with graphics. I've been talking a lot, so I'm a little tongue-tied today. But yeah, stay in touch with me there, and peace.